It's predictable that every confirmation hearing now is going to be overblown, politicized circus. And it's because we've accepted a new theory about how our three branches of government should work, and in particular, how the judiciary should work. What Supreme Court confirmation hearings should be about is an opportunity to go back and do schoolhouse rock civics for our kids. We should be talking about how a bill becomes a law and what the job of Article 2 is and what the job of Article 3 is. So let's try just a little bit. How did we get here and how can we fix it? I want to make just 4 brief points. Number 1, in our system, the legislative branch is supposed to be the center of our politics. Number 2, it's not. Why not? Because for the last century, and increasing by the decade right now, more and more legislative authority is delegated to the executive branch every year. Both parties do it. The legislature is impotent, the legislature is weak, and most people here want their jobs more than they really want to do legislative work, and so they punt most of the work to the next branch. Third consequence is that this transfer of power means the people yearn for a place where politics can actually be done. And when we don't do a lot of big, actual political debating here, we transfer it to the Supreme Court. And that's why the Supreme Court is increasingly a substitute political battleground.
Depth charge here for a surprise video on my main channel. Yesterday was an important day in 2020, and the event that happened a short time ago ranks very high in significance when we consider all the events that have rocked this election year. Ruth Bader Ginsburg has died, and now the most fierce, mean-spirited, and nonsensical Supreme Court confirmation process we have ever seen will most likely begin very shortly. What you saw at the beginning of this video was a clip of Senator Ben Sasse of Nebraska talking about why confirmation hearings and the rulings of the Supreme Court are so politicized. And he's absolutely correct. Whether we like it or not, public policy making has been outsourced to the courts, away from the legislature. There are 2 Supreme Court cases that I think about a lot, and they both have had a massive effect on our lives here in America. One of them is Roe v. Wade, and the other is D.C. versus Heller. In Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court, quote-unquote, legalized abortion under most circumstances, and in D.C. versus Heller, the court upheld the Second Amendment's protection of a person's right to own a gun. In both of these cases, the Supreme Court struck down a law, thereby having a negative effect on a legislative body that creates public policy. Basically, the Supreme Court acts as a super legislature, and therefore, when there is a confirmation hearing, everyone pays attention, and I mean everyone. Here's a short clip of the confirmation hearing of Brett Kavanaugh.
Good morning. I welcome everyone to this confirmation hearing on the nomination of Judge Brett Kavanaugh.
Mr. Chairman.
To serve as Associate Justice.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized for a question before we proceed.
Regular order, Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized to ask a question before we proceed. The committee received just last night, less than 15 hours ago, 42,000 pages of documents that we have not had an opportunity to review or read or analyze.
You're out of order. I'll proceed.
We cannot possibly move forward, Mr. Chairman,
I
with this
extend
hearing.
a very warm welcome
we have not
to
been
Judge
given
Kavanaugh,
an opportunity to have a meaningful
his wife,
hearing
Ashley,
on this nominee.
Their 2 daughters.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with my colleague,
friends.
Senator Harris. Mr. Chairman,
Judge
we
Kavanaugh's
received
many law
42,000
clerks
documents that we haven't
and
been able
everyone else joining
to
us
review last
today.
night, and we believe this hearing should
I
be
know
postponed.
this is an exciting day for all of you here, and you're rightly proud
Mr. Chairman,
of
if we cannot be recognized, I move to adjourn.
the American people.
Mr. Chairman, I move
get
to adjourn.
Hear directly from Judge Kavanaugh later this afternoon.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adjourn.
Notice that the Democrats are not happy, and they don't really care about being respectful towards Senator Grassley, and they don't really care about doing their part to help maintain an orderly process. They will not be happy again for this next confirmation hearing, and they will have at least one legitimate reason to not be happy. Mitch McConnell and other Republicans prevented President Obama's nominee Merrick Garland from even receiving a committee hearing in 2016. And the Supreme Court literally operated with only 8 members for almost 300 days. Now the Supreme Court has 8 members again, but this time the wait will be much shorter. Senator McConnell has already announced that there will be a hearing for President Trump's nominee, and I can already predict the wild and emotional rhetoric and protests that are coming. Alyssa Milano has probably already tweeted about how unfair and unjust this is. And the Young Turks have probably already posted a video on their YouTube page going absolutely insane over this. If we thought the Democrats getting mad about paperwork was bad, get ready for their fiery speeches and interruptions of the Judiciary Committee chairman over their perception of unfairness of having a Supreme Court nominee considered during an election year. During the confirmation hearing for Brett Kavanaugh, Patrick Leahy literally talked in front of a high school yearbook page. And I predict this next hearing will be even more outrageous and more ridiculous, if that is even possible. Whoever Trump nominates for the court will be treated like garbage by the Democrats in the Senate. The questions they will ask will be loaded, and everything from the nominee's past will be scrutinized and nitpicked. I do not envy the task at hand for the one who sits in the chair and has to take this nonsense from many of our senators. In the end, though, I think we will get a new Supreme Court justice well before November, and the rulings that are coming will be greatly affected by the new makeup of this court. I have zero plans to watch the confirmation hearings because I can only take so much nonsense from our government. Please don't interpret this video as an endorsement or approval of the Republicans in the Senate. I don't much care for Mitch McConnell most of the time, and his approval of a Supreme Court nominee's consideration during an election year is rather outrageous when compared to what happened in 2016. But this is Washington, D.C. politics, and it is nasty, and it rarely makes any sense. As I end this video, I want to assure you that the mask video is coming. I have been sidetracked with this video, and I am working on one for my video game channel. Thank you for watching to the end. Please consider writing a comment, subscribing, and hitting that thumbs up button. And as always, be kind to each other, as these are uncertain times.